Anthem for Doomed Youth by Wilfred Owen. An anthem means a song. Youth are young people. Doomed means they are destined to die. This is an anthem or a song for doomed youth or young people who are destined to die because they have to take part in the war. Anthem for Doomed Youth is a lyrical poem in the format of a sonnet. It is a bitter poem poignantly examining the brutality of war, the senseless devastation caused, and the grief of a soldier's loved ones at his death. Wilfred Owen dramatizes the hatred of war by creating a deeply scornful irony, pitting religious ceremony against the reality of the battlefield. There is a sense of a loss of identity where soldiers become nameless pawns who do the bidding of the political decision makers. No one stops to mourn for the soldiers. The first 8 lines or the octave laments the horror of the loss of these young men who were slaughtered like animals in the war. The remaining 6 lines, which form the sestet, moves away from the sounds of war to the stillness of the grave where the loved ones mourn the death of the soldiers. When Wilfred Owen wrote this poem, he had in mind a typical Christian Catholic funeral. In a Christian Catholic funeral in those olden days, whenever anyone died, the first thing that they would do is they would ring the bell in the church. In those days, there were no mobile phones nor telephones. In order to let the people know that someone from their congregation or from their church had died, they would ring the bell. The passing bells are the bells which are rung so that people would know that someone from their congregation had died, and they would go to the church to ask for more information. That way, the death of a certain person would be known to all. Instead of the musical passing bells to inform the members of the congregation that someone had died, there's only the monstrous anger of the guns and the stuttering rifles' rapid rattle. The monstrous sound of the guns replaced the musical passing bells. In a typical Christian funeral, there are also orisons or prayers. These are funeral prayers. Instead of the orisons or the funeral prayers, there's only the stuttering rifles' rapid rattle. Rapid means very fast. There's the sound of the rifles which replace the orisons. In a typical Christian funeral, there are also speeches made for the dead person. Sometimes these speeches became mockeries. They sound like mockeries. But for the dead soldiers, there are no mockeries or speeches for them. In a typical Christian funeral, there are also choirs or groups of people that sing. For the poor dead soldiers, there are no such choirs, but only the choirs of the shrill, demented sound of the wailing shells or the bullets as they are being fired from the guns. Shrill means high-pitched. Demented means crazy and frenzied. Instead of the lovely, comforting music of the choirs, there's the shrill, demented, crazy, frenzied choirs of the wailing shells.